Good morning, traders. I'm Dennis Dick.
And I'm Joel Alcana, and welcome to Monday's edition of Premarket Info.
Well, we were complaining, Joel, last week that there wasn't any volatility. It was quiet, and then look what happened on Friday. Concerns over Syria, and the market was trading up on the jobs number, and then we had comments from the Russian president, and kaplooey, everything falls, and we just die, and then we rally the whole thing back. So we got volatility on Friday.
Right, and if you can remember that far back here, we were trading right around this level, 1658 before the
Yep.
number. Got the pop, above
Jobs.
1660.
Yep.
Yep, and then Putin puked on the market and sent us down, and then we came rallying all the way back. So here we are again, right back at the where we at before the number. Relevant numbers on the upside have to be Friday's high at 1664,
Hmm.
and I think as long as we maintain the close, which is a double close level, 1653 was Friday's close, and 1653.50 was Thursday's close. That's a big area to hold on the downside.
Key support, key resistance highlighted here for you today, and the low today is 1652, so that's adding a little bit of relevance to that 1653 number that you're talking about. Let's go to Chevron. You want to see some crazy algo stuff? We'll show you some crazy algo stuff here. Chevron, do you see those two bars, those outside bars? Those are real. Actually, those trades did occur. With about 30 seconds left in the trading day, some algorithm, some institutional algorithm, I'm thinking is what it is, just went haywire, or some algorithm, maybe it could have been even a high frequency algorithm. Something went haywire there, and basically they sent a market order to the NYSE to sell 45,000 shares. That knocked the stock down 30 cents. But then in the next half second, they sent a market order to buy 45,000 shares, and that knocks the stock up to 121.58. Then they sent another market order to sell 45,000 shares. That knocks the stock back down to 121.09. Another market order to buy 45,000 shares. And they continue to do this, I think 10 or 12 times, a dozen
No
times.
way.
Yeah, so they're just burning cash, burning cash. And eventually, because the buck is thinning out, the market sell orders knocked it down to 119.01, and the market buy order knocked it up to 122.75. So if you want a quick way to burn cash, just start sending market buy orders for 45,000 and market sell orders for 45,000, and obviously you'll burn cash in a hurry. What I found interesting was the book was refilling actually pretty quickly. So either there was some obviously high frequency traders that were probably just giddy that this was going on, and they were obviously making a lot of money from it. They're like, oh, this algo's bad, and they jumped all over it, just providing liquidity to that algo on the New York Stock Exchange, and they cleaned up.
Yeah, those could be one of a couple things here. One is that the company that had that had hired the programmer from
Night.
Knight.
Night.
Yeah,
There you
I always have to
go.
throw
Oh,
that
poor
one in
Night.
there.
I don't.
And can you imagine what was going on in that trading room? Sell 45. No, I said buy
No,
45.
I
Don't
said
sell
so.
45,000.
But
I mean, just also within at that time of the day too. But it did knock the stock around quite a bit,
oh,
settling in this morning here.
it's like a yo-yo, you could call that. You can't see it because the bars, it all happened within 10 seconds. And on this chart, you can't see each oscillation, but there's about the 10 oscillations in there where it goes up, a dollar, down a dollar, up a dollar, and then starts going down $2 because the book is thinning out as it keeps taking out the liquidity on the New York Stock Exchange. So some traders made some money there, but it looks like some institution lost a ton of money because if you just think about 45,000 selling and it's knocking it down to 119 and buying, you could lose 100 grand every time you're doing that trade. So it looks like some trader probably threw away, probably maybe even better than $1 million right there, right at the end of the day on Friday.
Well,
So
hopefully they got the right position
oh
on.
man, you just gotta watch, and that's the danger with algorithmic trading. Obviously, this was probably an algorithm because the trades were happening too fast for a human being to be doing it. They were happening every half of second, so I don't think you can physically queue up and then hit and then hit and then hit that quickly. Maybe you could, but it looks like it's an algo kind of gone wild there. Obviously, they didn't want to do what they were doing, but and it just shows you the danger of algorithmic trading. If it's not programmed exactly right, these algos can do funny things in a hurry, and some institution burned a lot of cash on a bad algorithm. Let's move on to the market here today. We've got a couple stocks that we want to highlight here. Might as well start with Facebook. The stock has been marching and marching. We've been talking about it. It is up again here this morning. Has been as high as 44.61. They got new search tools. Instagram is going to be selling ads, so the stock is lifting up a little bit on that news. But this stock has just been on a tear. I think it's just its assault on 45 just seems to be imminent here, Joel.
Right, so they're trying to get everybody even from the IPO because we did have that 45 print.
Yeah.
We've been arguing about that. Looking at the pre-market activity, right, Dennis, she did hit 44.61. Should be on its way to 45 here. Looking at Friday's high, that was 44.61 as well. So there's a good number that it hit in the pre-market. Keep an eye on that, and then after that, you got 45. Looking at the daily close here of 43.95, that's the all-time highest close. So if you're trying to hold on to this long term, and no matter what it does during the day, still like to see it maintain that close of 43.95.
What are you thinking if you were short this thing going into that earnings report back in July and the stock gapped up huge on you and it has just continued to run? It's been a gap and go. It obviously gapped up that day to 32.75, closed as high as or got over $34, and it's just been on the tear and you've had no hope. If you were trying, you thought, oh, I'll get a little pullback here eventually, I'll cover. You probably have just lost, pretty much all your money on that short because obviously the stock is up pretty much, 80, 90% since the reported earnings there just back in July. So just an incredible move for Facebook.
Well, we talk a lot about gaps and gaps being filled and gaps not being filled. I mean, it's a strategy that has validity, but obviously in all situations it doesn't. That's why you have to use different parameters besides I'm going to short this and hope to fill the gap.
Yeah.
You short it, you put your there's been a few pauses in this. It paused at 40, pulled back a little bit, and once it broke through 40, it was gone. So. I mean, that's, we talk about the technicals, but, that's what fundamentals and a good earnings report do to a stock.
BlackBerry is popping here a little bit again this morning. There has been chatter pretty much nonstop for the last month on this stock. It might be a possible sale happening. Rumors again here this morning. It's up 32 cents in the pre-market. It's been as high as 11.50. It's trading at 11.17 right now, so it's a decent pop here for BlackBerry. Obviously, back in August, we got up to 12.18. That's a long ways away from here, but continued chatter continues to pop the stock up.
Right. Well, I think that the news of way going back last week, Microsoft taking out Nokia, that had, if there's a time that you're gonna dress yourself up, to go to the dance, that would be the time. And now they didn't go after BlackBerry. Obviously, they made the purchase. I don't know. They're talking about people buying it. I don't know who's going to buy this thing or why they would buy it. But when you get in these kind of situations, it's hard to be short a stock when, especially, I mean, maybe intraday if you're looking at some levels. But, when there's rumors out there, a lot of times they do come to fruition. But 12.18 is a big number. That gets in the gap area all the way up to 13.50. But I would like to know who's thinking of buying this thing.
Well, and you make a good point saying it's hard to be short the stock. Imagine you were short on Friday, or I wouldn't want to hold it over the weekend because that's usually when announcements are made. So if you were short maybe Friday, you probably start to get nervous here. Stock is popping up on continued chatter, so it is hard to stay short a stock that is in play. Whether it really is in play or not, at least they're saying it. Even the company themselves are kind of hinting that they're in play. So it's real hard to stay short something like this. But the technicals, do tell a story, and it is breaking out here from this $10 consolidation area that I had forever. So even technically speaking, the stock looks pretty good. Obviously, it's moving up pretty much because it is in play, though.
1150 was your high going back a few days here, and you had 1156 high on August 14th. You hit 1133 on Friday. You did bump up to 1161 in the pre-market area, have fallen back. So there's your resistance point if you're looking to take advantage, maybe sell some stock on these rumors. But 1133 was a 2-day high. 1115 was Friday's high.
Apple trying to march up here this morning too. It's up $6. FBN Securities raises their price target from 575 up to $600. Obviously, we got the iPhone event probably that's coming up here very shortly on September 10th and 11th in China. So that is going to be on the radar here coming up. So I think you might see that little pre-game, pre-type of run up there, which is what you're seeing here this morning ahead of that
Who?
event.
What firm?
FBN Securities, FBN. So not a huge one. I think it's
Okay.
probably a little bit to do with you get a little run up here too. Is we are just a couple days ahead of that event, obviously. So and everybody's pretty excited about that. So it's not unreasonable to think that you get a little bit of run ahead of that. I don't. I wouldn't want to be short going to that event either. So you got to look at it from that perspective too. But this
Yeah.
$500 level, man, we just do not get away from this level.
Right, 506.90s high in the pre-market. We took out those couple tops we had at the 502.5 area. Friday's highs way down under 500 at 499.38. So initial support comes in at 502.50. Just a number to keep in mind here. High close of this entire move, that we can call it the icon move, has been 507.74. Didn't quite hit that in the pre-market, and then you have another double top up in the 510.5 area.
Let's move on to a couple other stocks. So we'll get away from the Big Ten for a few minutes here. Move into a couple smaller ones I want to highlight. Let's look at Hewlett Packard actually just for a second because we haven't talked about the stock in a long time. It obviously had the bad report there and got killed. But look at this $22 level here, Joel. What's happening? It's funny. You get these really hard levels, and we're starting to see it in a lot of stocks. And Hewlett Packard, somebody is just defending a $22 level.
Right, trading down 27 cents in the pre-market.
Well, I got ex-dividend day too, so 14
Okay.
cents. So actually, we had one tick of 100 shares, so it's not even really trading down. 22.27 is the adjusted close there, and it's bid up at 22.20. So I don't even know if it's going to open down or not.
21.92 was the low on August 27th, and then just someone's been vigorously defending that $22 level, not letting it get it under 22. On any occasion, getting to 22.01, 22.02, 22.05 on Friday during the sell-off. So you gotta look at that area. It's major support if you're trying to swing trade down here. Keep an eye on that. Coming back on the upside, you have pretty well-defined resistance as well. Several highs, 22.65 to 22.70. So ex-dividend today may be a little bit hard to get above there, but definitely above 22.70 here, and this thing to start to move up from the high on the earnings day, which was 23.24, and just sneaking back into the Big Ten here, and we talk about these levels. Not that I was paying attention to it on Friday, but
Wow.
man,
Wow.
Jay got back down to that $86 level.
Unbelievable that level.
And, yeah, someone must have like a good forever order there. Like
Every time it gets down there, it's just bounces back out of it. That is just an incredible amount of support. You don't see setups that long. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bottoms in the last 8 trading sessions, right almost on the kisser at 86. At either 85, 88, or 86.12. You're right in there within 10 or 15 cents anyways with 6 of 8 bottoms. That is support if I've ever seen it. And it came into play again on Friday. And sometimes when they get away from these levels and you get some macro news, like, we obviously had the comments from Russia, it will take the stock down to the level where it found support before and bounce there. It's like throwing a basketball against the floor, and the floor is so hard, it's going to bounce a bit. And that's when Johnson bounced nicely off that 86 once again.
Right, did sneak up towards 88, but when the market sold off near the end of the day, it pulled back. Multiple closes around 87, so I think that's going to be your support point today.
Let's look at Tesla here too, because Tesla actually is showing a little bit of weakness. Friday didn't really like the tape action this morning. It's actually trading down here again, 162.70. Obviously, there was some reports on the valuation last week, and the big analyst coming out saying it's basically just ridiculously valued. We know from a fundamental perspective it doesn't make sense, but momentum is carries stocks for a long time. Obviously, carried the stock from $60 back in May up to $160 or over that, where where we're at now. We are pulling back here from the highs the last couple of days, so it is starting to show some weakness. Is this the end of this bull run in Tesla, or is this just a little pause before it starts marching here again?
Yeah, a couple ways to approach it. One, if you're long and you're getting this kind of pullback here, obviously opening up through your stops. We've just been talking about the 165 level. It's traded around that, for several days. Dipped below it, got back above it. Now we're trading below it in the pre-market, and also Friday's low was 165.15. So that's going to be your resistance point. If it didn't get back above 165 and close today above that level, there's really, you can see some minor support at that 160 level, but below 160, between 150 and 160, there's just not a lot of support to look at in those levels.
Couple upgrades want to go and highlight here. You got Estee Lauder EL getting upgraded at Citigroup here this morning. The stock hasn't traded in the pre-market, but it is getting bid up here. Interesting formations here. It had multiple tops just in the mid 68s, and we're probably going to open up in that area. Although I've seen these upgrades before on Estee Lauder and these makeup stocks, and you've seen the thing just kind of gaps up and goes. I don't know if it's going to do that again, but we are opening into a little bit of resistance here.
68 has been a big level, as you mentioned. 68.07 was the high on Friday. 67.93 was your high on Thursday. Doesn't look like we're going to quite get there yet in the pre-market.
We're a bit above there, so I think we're going to actually take
really?
that. Yeah, we're a bit at 68.20, and nobody's even sniffing them. I think we're going to open up at 69 or something. We're going to open up high.
And who's upgrading this?
Citigroup. It is Citi.
Okay.
That's a good big.
Well, if you're going to go with Citi there, then you got a resistance at 68.56, and then some just under 69 at 68.82. But if this thing did pull back and come below 68, I don't know. I wouldn't trust it.
I think it's going to break out today. I think you're going to go open up, and I think you're going to go up and test that 69 area. But we will see what happens with it. NTAP also getting upgraded here this morning at UBS. Don't even look at the pre-market high. This is like bad algos gone wild here on this one, because the upgrade came out, and I don't know if some algorithm's reading the news and just says, oh, I buy everything in the pre-market. Somebody bought that up to 46.80 when that upgrade just happened about a half an hour ago. Bring out the pre-market chart again just so they can see that level, because that's absolutely ridiculous that somebody would buy that thing up to 46.80 on an upgrade. Obviously, it's probably some algorithm just got excited and it bought. I'm looking up there. It looks like it bought about 4,000 shares up there. So there's a cool way to pooch about 12 grand in a hurry, or even more. Actually, pooch about 16 grand in a hurry right there, buying the stock up to 46.80. Insane. But it is going to open up. It's at 42.70, but I don't think you're seeing 46.80.
Well, it's breaking above some key resistance level. 52.50 is kept a cap on it since the middle of August, and then if you can break above there, a couple highs in the 43 handle, 43.05, 43.13. So a couple resistance levels to get through, but after that, maybe that guy can work a scratch up there at the 46.80 level.
Work a scratch maybe in another month. Halliburton trading down here, downgraded by Wells Fargo today. It's down about 40 cents here in the pre-market, trading at 49.10. Halliburton Wells Fargo kind of going against the trend here, because Halliburton has been marching here too ever since bottoming at $40 on the Kisser just in June. It's been straight up 10 points and actually broke out through 50 on Friday. Closed kind of weak, and I guess there's a little fall through weakness obviously with the downgrade here.
Well, it's good. It's nice to see an upgrade or a downgrade on a stock when it's going up, instead of when it drops 5 points and then they lower their rating. 49.38 was Friday's low. We're trading below that in the pre-market. So if you get a pop up to there, and also the close at 49.50, people looking for a scratch, that'll be your first resistance point. Double top above the $50 level, 50.14 to 50.28. And almost identical ranges on Friday. The highs within 14 cents and the lows within 14 cents. So not an inside day, but below 49.24, things are pretty open on the downside. Halliburton.
We're starting to run short on time, but let's quickly look at gold and silver here, because silver was selling off a little bit more. Start with silver. We never talk about silver here, or you can go start with gold. You got the gold up there. So obviously gold here is coming back now, but gold was weaker here this morning. I was bringing it up and looking earlier. It is bouncing back here now. This $1,400 area is still kind of acting like a magnet. It's 14 bucks away from there, but has obviously gapped up on Friday there, and is trying to hold up here today. Do you think the march continues, or are we going to give back some of those Friday
I
gains?
think you need a little fear, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
you've had the run over 1400, and then the war talk is on, the war talk is off, so that's usually the driver for it. On the daily here, three highs between 1390, 360, up to the $1,400 level. So I think for this move to continue, you got to get back over 1400, make a close above there. If not, you come down to the major support at the 1354 area, 1350 area.
And you got silver trading down here too. If you just want to look at the SLV, even trading down at 2270 right now. So it's down about 1% here. As you can see, just looking at the charts, it's kind of been pretty volatile chart there. Looking at that.
Yeah, that's the silver. Here's the SLV.
So yeah, you can see we've obviously been on quite a tear here for the last few months, but we're chopping around here the last few days. So silver's trying to find its home. Today it's going to open down 1%.
Looks like that major support there down at 22. Look at all those gaps in
Yeah,
there. So that's
it's
pretty
choppy.
much an impossible picture to take a look at. But for this, the support's well defined at 22. Still a ways from there. Might as well take a look at the GLD as well to see if we can find support. I know a lot of people like to trade the ETFs here. Kind of the same picture here. Multiple lows around the 132 level.
Overall market thoughts here, Joel, as we trade up 4 points. Obviously, any headlines coming, on Syria will drive this market. We saw that on Friday, how quickly a rally can fade with a little bit of nervousness. Obviously, with the Russian president comments, what really drove it down. But you got to be careful when you're in this market intraday, because obviously news can happen, and obviously the market can move very quickly on Syria headlines.
Right, and we talk about this on several occasions. I mean, it's not always great to perhaps initiate positions. You can with good risk reward ratios, but certainly if you get some price action, during that kind of volatility that hit your price target or an objective
Right.
you've been waiting for, take it off. Do it, because as quickly as that market popped under 1640,
Mm-hmm.
boy, it just came right back
Roared
up
back.
and. Yep, I was trying to cover some spider puts, and wow, well, I hope it goes back down and tests the low of the day, and it did not. But instead of trying to pick a top here, I'm just going to keep a focus on that double close area at the 1653 level. As long as we hold above there, all's well in bullland.
That's our show for today, guys. Have a great day, and we'll be back at you tomorrow morning.